some of your deficiencies in your last position?
Well, when I was a leasing consultant, when I first started, I had a really hard time leasing apartments. The main reason is because I'm not a pushy person, so when it comes to sales, I don't push people onto them. My job was to greet the person coming in looking for a home and show them an apartment, and at the end say, okay, are you ready to put your deposit down? Well, I'm not a pushy person, so I could never do that. I would just wait for them to say, I really want this apartment, you know. Other than that, I wasn't a very outgoing person at the time, so it took me a while to get into the management position, obviously. I guess that was my greatest deficiency, was not being very pushy about moving people in. So my standards for reaching my goals were not as good as they could have been.
Fine.
1 minute.
Okay. All right, so Stephanie, what was good about Tyann's answer?
It was relevant, and she also described how she tried to make her deficiency into, like, she tried to improve it, not to just have it. She talked about how that was her setback, but she tried to get past it and build more confidence. Did you? Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crystal and Diane, what else was good?
She said everything I was going to say.
No.
Even though it was a deficiency, she came across as confident. She held herself right. She was making good eye contact. She was a little bit embarrassed about it, but not where it interfered with her answer.
Okay. How about physical and vocal characteristics? Anybody?
Her voice was consistent.
She was a little quiet.
Yeah.
A little quiet.
Didn't project or exude a lot of confidence.
Okay.
It was
good elements of physical and vocal characteristics.
I thought that she had a really nice tone. Like, you could tell that this was something that she recognized in herself, that she wasn't necessarily really, you know.
like, let me tell you what I wasn't gonna.
She's not extremely opinionated, but that she still did her job. She said at first she had a hard time doing that, but that she did get better at it. But you could tell she still isn't a really, like, arrogant, really pushy around kind of person.
Not pushy.
Well, another good thing was you filled up a minute, which, I mean, if you fill up a minute with bad stuff, it's not so good. But I think everything you said fit in very nicely with your original statement when I first started, such and such. So it fit the question very well. What might have made it an even better answer? Tom?
I think explaining how you, a little bit more about how you overcame and how you improved and what you did to improve yourself.
Yeah, like an example maybe, you know, like, oh, I enrolled myself in a public speaking class at Clover Park to help, you know, get my assertiveness level up, or, you know, I read a book, I took a class, or something, like give a specific example.
Well, this question is trying to trap you, obviously, into saying bad things about yourself.
Right.
In a job interview, you want to avoid that at all costs. You never want to say anything bad about yourself or a past employer. Okay? So I thought your choice of the first thing you said was very good. My deficiency was I wasn't pushy enough. And the implication there is that being pushy really is not such a great thing after all. And therefore, you are virtuous by not being able to be pushy. So I think if you had continued with that, it would have been really even better. You could have said, I wasn't pushy at first. Well, you did say at first. But then you might have said, I developed a technique that I used after about a month. I would simply ask them this or say this. And as a result, the percentage of people who actually signed the contract went from 24% to 97%, or something like that. So that it paints a picture of overcoming this deficiency. Anything else for Tyann?
Can I say one thing? One thing that was taught to me is that you don't say obviously or apparently or anything like that to an interviewer. That's one thing I was always taught before.
And why is that?
Because it's I can't
Assuming making an ass out of you.
It's kind of like I can't even think of the word I would describe the descriptive word that it is, but it's just something you try to avoid when speaking to someone that's trying to get information.
Maybe sounds presumptuous, a little bit presumptuous.
Because it may not be obvious.
Obvious, yeah.
You know, and you would imply that the person is not getting it and may not, you know, fully understand what you're saying.
Mandy?
One thing I learned when I had to take like job seeking classes and stuff for DSHS was that they say when employers ask you that, like, you know, what's your weakness or what's your deficiency, or you kind of avert them away from that word. You're like, well, I wouldn't call it a deficiency, but maybe something I need to work on is, because you want to get it away from being a failure and move it up a bracket.